You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles.
Is this thing on? It's Virtue here. And I'm just doing a quick Facebook recap tagging Mr. Rift and Noel and Vito in this. Because I know since I couldn't be on Getting Color tonight, because I was at Wrestlemania with horrible reception. By the way, MetLife Stadium Wi-Fi sucks. And the Verizon signal sucks at MetLife Stadium. And it's as you're going in, there's big Verizon logos. They have charging docks, and the reception still sucks. Now, maybe it's because there was 80,000 people in that building, or however many fans were in there, truncating all the Wi-Fi signal and cell phone signal. But anyway, so this weekend, the Marks, the wrestling fans, the Smarks, whatever you want to call them, Johnny Gargano won the NXT Championship. Okada won the IWGP Championship. Ibushi won the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Tavern, or whatever that guy's name is, won the Ring of Honor Championship. Seth Rollins won the United States Championship. Becky Lynch won the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship. And of course, Kofi Kingston won the WWE Championship. Every single Smark darling pretty much won a major title. Oh, and Finn Balor, Demon Finn Balor, won the IC title. Every Smark darling won a major title this weekend. And what do I see on social media? The show's too long. And we're talking WrestleMania now. Yes, it was too long. I don't like the LED board. It was lazy. I don't like the finish of the main event, the way Ronda got rolled up. I don't like how Shane beat Miz. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like. I know creative sucks. That's always been my beef with WWE. But the fact is, they gave the fans, the wrestling Smarks, every finish they wanted with the major titles. Seth, Kofi, and Becky all have the titles. And that's not good enough for you. You can't go 24 hours before you start bitching again. And what I mean by that is for Monday Night Raw. You couldn't have said, you know what, we got what we wanted. Despite its length, WrestleMania was an A-. That's what I gave it. Didn't give it an A+. It was too long. But I'm not bitching about that. I'm not bitching about the LED board. I'm going to be having to shave my beard off because Kofi won the WWE title, which I'm going to explain my thoughts on that more in depth when we do the reviews and I do Virtue's Brand of Wrestling this week. So, Kurt Angle's final match, he jobbed. People didn't like that. Does anybody understand pay it forward? Now, I know a lot of people, even in the business, I want to say even maybe Vito, Noel, complained about Baron Corbin being Kurt Angle's opponent. Well, the fact is, we knew that weeks ago, and they weren't going to change it. It wasn't going to be John Cena. Even though he was in the house as the Doctor of Thugonomics, they could have easily made, if they were going to get him at Mania, they could have put him against Angle for Angle's last match. Doctor of Thugonomics versus Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle faced Cena when he first came in, or Cena faced Kurt Angle when he first came in, and he turned into the rap gimmick. They had a feud. They rap battled. They could have had a really good send-off for Kurt, but they didn't. And they're putting Corbin in there now to be the guy to get heat because nobody liked him being Kurt's opponent, and they put him over. It's called pay it forward, people. Kurt's not going to do anything else in this business. And the swan song for Kurt Angle was him coming back to the WWE and getting put in the Hall of Fame. And after he was put in the Hall of Fame, he still came back and did more TV and made money. Maybe Kurt and WWE should have patched things up when he was more in his prime 3, 4, 5 years ago, and then you would have got those big send-off matches. But Kurt was just physically not able to do that anymore. So you weren't going to get that full Kurt Angle like you could have. Maybe that's a little bit of Kurt's fault for staying in TNA too long. Who knows? But when I look at this WrestleMania, and I was there in attendance, I thought the LED boards looked great. I actually took some cool pictures on my phone, and I was sitting in the upper bowl, and those tickets were $350. I could have only imagined how much they were on the floor. $750, $1,000. Hey, Braden, what's up? What's up, Braden? And here's the thing. I enjoyed myself at WrestleMania, and I guess being there live is different. You know, I ate a lot of food. I drank some drinks. There with some friends, enjoying the moment, living in the moment. I didn't watch it at home with a notepad, writing down everything I didn't like. I understand creative sucks, right? I've always knocked WWE for that. But this is their biggest event of the year. And when I think of Mania, I think, do the fans get what they wanted in terms of the booking, the pop for the end of the match? That's what's biggest about Mania, the pop for the end of the match. Lesnar got 3 curb stomps. Seth went over. Check 1 for the fans. Kofi beat Daniel Bryan. Check 2 for the fans. And even Demon Finn Balor, right, which is ridiculous. Yes, we know he wasn't Demon versus Brock Lesnar, but now all of a sudden he's Demon versus Bobby Lashley. Demon Finn Balor came, conquered the entrance, won a title. And of course, Becky Lynch. The man held both titles up. The women headlined the show, made history, but fans are still not happy. I will give the fans, anybody who graded this show, and I'm not talking from a Vince Russo standpoint, because he's probably going to pick this apart. That's what he does. He does it from the creative aspect because he's a former writer. So when you all listen to Russo's review, he's probably going to shit on Mania. But fans, right? Marks, smarks, fans, casuals, nobody should have gave it less than a B-, because you got paid off with your investment from the 3 big title matches. So when I see people bitching about LED boards, Kurt Angle's opponent, it's like, enough of this. Because what would have happened if you want a perfect show? People, go to school, go to writing school, go to Hollywood and try to write for some sitcoms or from some soap operas. Then you'll have the qualifications to do an application to WWE and get hired as a creative writer. And then maybe you can become the next Vince Russo and work with Vince McMahon booking these shows. If you want to complain about the product again when Raw comes on the air tomorrow, fine. Do your weekly complaints about Raw and SmackDown. But this was WrestleMania. The performers gave it their all. Batista was so amped up coming back from his return, because you know this is how he became a star, by wrestling, just like The Rock. He did his little thing on the entrance, right? He was excited and amped, walks up the stairs, onto the apron, trips inside the ring. Okay? I don't give a shit. I got to see Batista one more time. But what do I see? I see marks and fans. Oh, there's the botch. Botchamania. Tripped into the ring. Oh, look at his head. It looks like pruned fingers when you're wet. Look, I'm man enough to have congratulated Kofi Kingston for being booked in that spot. And I didn't want him to win because I thought the character Kofi didn't deserve it. He was a little nervous. When I saw him, Kofi botched a couple times in that match. But I didn't shit on him. He pulled through it. Daniel Bryan, the veteran that he is, helped pull Kofi through that. That was the magic moment of the night. The first African-American WWE champion. So I'm just sick. I could not stand taking the Uber back to the condo and seeing the negativity that I saw from WrestleMania. And I'm not talking like the Vince Russo critiquing the writing. I'm just talking about the payoffs. I saw too much bitching for what I thought was a very good show for fans. Maybe not casuals. No, actually, I take that back. Yes, for casuals. I mean, they got Drax was wrestling in a WrestleMania match. Batista. Ronda Rousey was wrestling in the main event of WrestleMania, the first time women ever got there. They had some cool entrances. The LED board looked sweet, but I see bitching. So let's see. Alex Dane said this is a great heel heat for Corbin. I agree. I'm going to take the positives from the negatives. Corbin winning is what nobody wanted. That's why he's heel. I agree. Shane winning, the way it happened. Miz did the big move, which, think about that, people. Miz does not do stuff like that. Yes, we know there was padding down there, but he suplexed Shane, but took himself out in the process, and Shane's arm was on the Miz for the win. That's heel McMahon 101. So, there was a lot of matches. Joe squashed Ray. Ray might have been banged up from his injury or whatever, but, Joe got a win over a legend in fairly easy fashion. Can't you take the positive from the negative? No, people got to bitch that match was too short. Shawn Douglas, the Dr. John Cena, the Doctor of Thugonomics, was a great replacement for Taker. I agree. I did like the Elias. I mean, Elias got his shit in with all those pre-tapes, with all the drums, the piano, all that. So Elias got his shit in. And then on top of that, he got to get beat up by Doctor of Thugonomics. Great spot. Rock must be too busy of a guy. Dwayne Johnson. I'm okay with that. Undertaker right now is just detaching himself from WWE, right? Maybe he wants to just kind of fade off into the sunset. Maybe do this little star cast. Make some money doing that. I would not be surprised that maybe Mark Calloway, because he could get a big payday from the Khans, just maybe Mark Calloway will have one match in AEW against Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is like the Triple H of AEW. And if Undertaker did that just to create a buzz, it is what it is. It probably wouldn't work for him long term. It would be one match, and it might not happen. Taker's loyal to Vince. But, who says he didn't have a conversation with Chris Jericho? Who says Chris Jericho didn't convince Mark Calloway to maybe work one match for AEW to help competition? You don't think Undertaker appreciated competition back in the day? He was the WWE guy. He stayed there. He never left. He got the opportunity to have great angles and storylines because of the competition of WCW. So you don't think these performers like competition? Think about this. What if AEW got big again? Or got big like WCW, and there was somewhat of a competitor to WWE? Then all of a sudden, Undertaker's deciding, what should I do? Should I go be inducted into the Hall of Fame in WWE, or can I get a couple more years by working some younger guys and paying it forward like Kurt Angle did today with Corbin? But no, we don't like Corbin because he dresses like a waiter, which I get. That's all funny stuff. Joe Gary, Party. Oh, I'm sorry, it's late. I'm tired. Hey, Virtue, what's up, man? What's up? By the way, Noel, I hope you can figure out how to rip this video because I'm doing it on Facebook Live. And then if you can figure out a way to intertwine this onto Getting Color on Twitch tomorrow or however you do that, since I could not join Twitch when Vito did it tonight because not only was the Daniel Bryan match happening, again, I had no Verizon signal or Wi-Fi signal that properly worked, and I had both my phones, an Android and an iPhone. So many people were in one little bubble, all the signals truncated. But Shawn Douglas, I really enjoyed SmackDown Tag Title match, and don't think, oh yeah, Usos won. I picked them. I enjoyed that. Good for the Usos. But yeah, too much complaining on a show from fans where they got what they wanted. They got their 3 big outcomes. They got their Johnny a couple nights earlier. And for those same fans that watched Ring of Honor, they got their Okada. They got their Ibushi. I tweeted, Dave Meltzer and Wade Keller have officially influenced the books for Ring of Honor, for WWE/NXT. And I'm just scared the way wrestling's going because these are the type of booking decisions that cater to all the marks. And I think the larger than life, slower paced matches, it's going away. Because they're not trying to pull in casual fans anymore. They're just catering to the small niche that the wrestling fan base is dwindling to, which is typical dirt sheet writer fan base. Dude, you know what I popped for the most? And you know it. You people know it. I'm losing this beard because Daniel Bryan lost. I'm okay with that. Roman Reigns had a pretty average match, right? Drew, they did good, but it was like a Raw match, right? Nothing spectacular. They probably were against the clock, had to get done in 10 minutes. Roman was here, and he wasn't in the main event, people. It was a filler match. And lo and behold, what happened? What do I see? In the upper bowl, as this match is happening, some people are starting to get restless, and then they try to do the wave because they didn't like a Roman versus Drew match. The fucking guy just came back from leukemia, okay? And he's performing on the big stage less than 6 months after he was re-diagnosed with leukemia, and he had to get treatments to put it back in remission. If you watch the end of that match after Roman went over, he went into the corner, he did this, and he kneeled, he bowed his head into the corner turnbuckle, and he prayed. If you people can't appreciate the fact he was probably praying that he's not going to die and he's going to be here for his wife and kid or kids, shame on you, because to me that was a WrestleMania moment. Not the fact that Roman was in 4 consecutive main events, not the fact that he came back so soon and went over Drew, but the fact that he was alive. He's not going to die, and hopefully this thing stays in remission, and he got to do what he loves, knowing he still is going to be here for his family. If you people can't fucking appreciate that, and I know the people that listen to me do, but some of these, this will get out on the internet. Some people hate Roman, and they can't wait to boo him again. That was my biggest takeaway from Mania. That hit me the hardest, watching Roman get so emotionally invested into himself after that match. That was awesome. No, Roman didn't get boos. People liked Roman. I think they got tired from that. Followed Kofi and Bryan. Shame on you, WWE, for putting Roman and Drew McIntyre after that match. People were so worn out from that match, knowing they still had the women's match later, that when that Roman and Drew match happened, some people did get restless. I don't remember Roman getting booed, but I do remember hearing some people thinking, they were bored with the slow pace. Some people say Drew McIntyre just doesn't have it. Nobody really shit on Roman, but they did try the wave. And wrestling fans just don't have respect for performers. They only think about themselves and how they can be happy. How they can, what can happen for us to pop. And they can't sit there as a human being and realize you're watching a performer come back from being sick, doing the thing that he loves way sooner than anybody thought. And again, so of course that was my takeaway. I'm a Roman fan, but I look beyond the wrestling bubble and I saw the real life aspect of that. So I thought that was awesome. Braden says, like Russo always says, they won't realize until something bad bites them in the ass, so to speak. That's true. Joe Gary, Party Joe Gary, Parody. I don't know how you say your name. Like I said, it's 2:30 in the morning. I got to be up in like 6 or 7 hours because on Monday we're touring Madison Square Garden, and then we're going to see the Statue of Liberty, and then we're going to Raw. So, but anyway, he says, the thing that annoyed me was the Lesnar and Rollins match. It was kind of weird with that, now that you mentioned that. It's like they got it out of the way, the hot open. It's almost like Brock wasn't happy that the women were going on last. So if he couldn't go on last, it's like, did Brock bitch to Vince? And demand that he gets his match out of the way so he could leave. And it felt very rushed. The fact that match, Brock beat Rollins up for 5 minutes before the match even started. And then all of a sudden the match started and it didn't seem that long. And of course, just like all the other small guy matches with Brock tossed him around, and then the guy came back. The ref got pushed off the apron, the nut shot, and then it took 3 curb stomps. But I'm intrigued with Rollins being the champion now because the rumors of Brock going back to UFC are still there. And I'm interested to see what happens with Roman. Is Drew? Is Corbin? Who's going to be the next challenger? Obviously, we're going to get a superstar shakeup soon. So, could AJ Styles come over and fight Rollins? Could Roman go to SmackDown and feud Kofi? Roman and Kofi. I would be all for that. We don't know until the next few weeks unfold. But please, don't bitch. You could say it wasn't your favorite WrestleMania of all time and give it a B-. Caitlyn from No DQ. That's fine. You gave it a B-. You gave it an above average grade, right? Anything over a C+ is above average. But I've seen people out there saying it was a D, it was a C-, it was this and that, and you got your 3 big payoffs. And then, that's just not good enough, and that pisses me off. Another thing I'd like to briefly recap is Enzo Amore and Cass. Now, first of all, that was unfortunate what happened with Brett at the Hall of Fame. But they took care of that. The boys and the girls took care of that, and that guy's in jail. Now, I believe it was Dash Wilder, did the sucker punch to him when he was already apprehended. I'm mixed about that. That guy was an asshole, so he did deserve the sucker punch. But at the same time, you got cameras rolling, and you got a fickle society who sues. And even though that guy did wrong, I'm just saying that's a touchy subject with that. But Enzo and Cass was awesome. I got mad at some people in my No DQ group because as soon as they heard about that, they were bad-mouthing Enzo, saying he doesn't belong in the business. I know he's had a reputation of from what we know, we were never backstage with him, but we know he had a reputation of being an asshole backstage. He got fired, but he never did rape a girl. He had sex with a girl, and the girl probably loved him after that, and he said, I don't want anything to do with you, and then she said rape. But he didn't get in trouble if he didn't rape anybody. Nobody should deny anybody work, and Enzo's a talented guy. Maybe rap's not his thing, but being in the sports entertainment world is. And I know people, again, don't like his work because he's not a wrestler. Or he's not a good wrestler, right? The guy can bump. You ever see Enzo bump? Sure, he injured himself a couple times. But he could be a manager. He could be a mouthpiece. He could work as a sidekick in a tag team. Don't ever say somebody doesn't deserve to work and make money. Seriously. So I'm glad that Ring of Honor is rolling the dice with Enzo and Cass, and I'd love to see what happens with this. Because if they are successful there, you never know. AEW could look at them. They could go back to WWE. Professional wrestlers deserve work, people. Never deny anybody an opportunity of work because you don't like them. That is bullshit. Thank you, Braden. So it's been a fun week. I mean, really, it really has. I've had a blast here, and I still have a couple days left. What did we do? We went to the Empire State Building yesterday. So, yeah, we're going to Madison Square Garden. We're going to the Statue of Liberty. We're going to Raw. Tuesday, we're going to go to SmackDown. So I will keep everybody updated with all of that. But thank you for tuning this in. And again, Noel from thebigvitobrand.com. I hope you know how to rip YouTube live videos because this is what you can use to put on the site since I couldn't be on there with Vito. But we'll get back to normal when I get back in town to Cleveland area and I get back in my normal routine of things. Maybe I will do one more of these after Raw or after SmackDown. I know when I go back, we're going to try to do the No DQ review. I'm going to try to get with Rob. We'll do the Virtues brand of wrestling. Big G and I will hopefully do Virtues Rage this week. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Follow me on Twitter, folks, at NoDQ_virtue. Good night.